stop. Before you close this because you think it's another one of those everyone's a genius in their own way participation trophy videos, let me tell you something that's going to make your stomach turn. You're not stupid, you never were. But someone convinced you that you were, and you've been living inside that prison ever since. 3rd grade, Mrs. Henderson's class, or whatever her name was. She held up your test, the one with the red marks. The other kids looked at you. That moment, you can still feel it, can't you? The heat crawling up your neck, the knot tightening in your stomach, the sound of someone snickering in the back row. And right there, in that classroom that smelled like chalk and floor polish, you made a decision. A quiet decision. A decision that would define the next 20 years of your life. I'm not smart enough. And from that single moment forward, you built your entire identity around that wound. You became the hard worker, the dependable one, the guy who may not be brilliant but gets things done, which is just a sophisticated way of saying, I accepted my place as inferior and I'm going to make a virtue out of my defeat. You know what's really happening here? You let a 3rd grade test, 20 multiple choice questions written by someone who peaked in graduate school, define your entire relationship with your own mind. You let a standardized exam designed to measure one very specific, very narrow type of cognitive function convince you that you were fundamentally deficient. That ends today. Here's what actually happened. They gave you one type of test. You failed one type of intelligence and you spent the rest of your life believing that was the intelligence. The only one that mattered. The one that separated the winners from the losers. The smart from the stupid. The valuable from the disposable. But here's the thing they didn't tell you. Here's the mechanism you've been missing your entire life. Intelligence isn't singular. It's not a line, it's not a ladder, it's a spectrum, a toolbox, a weapons cache, and you've been trying to build a house with only a hammer because someone told you that saws and drills don't count. Let me tell you about 7 distinct forms of intelligence. Not 1, not 2, 7. And the reason you've struggled, the reason you felt like you're running through mud while everyone else sprints past you, isn't because you lack intelligence. It's because you've been forcing yourself to operate in someone else's domain, while your natural intelligence has been screaming to be used. Think about it. Really think about it. The educational system wasn't designed to make you intelligent. It was designed during the Industrial Revolution. Its purpose was to make you useful, obedient, predictable, able to show up on time, follow instructions, and not ask too many questions. So they created one narrow definition of intelligence, linguistic and logical mathematical, and told everyone else they were broken. You know what's the most insidious part of this whole operation? It's not that they told you that you were stupid. It's that they made you believe it was your fault. That if you just tried harder, studied longer, focused more, you could become like the smart kids. But you couldn't. Because you were trying to grow apples on an orange tree. And every time you failed, every time you got another bad grade, another disappointed look from a teacher, another concerned conversation with your parents, it reinforced the lie. You internalized it, made it part of your DNA, started seeing yourself through their metrics. Your internal monologue became their voice. I'm just not a school person. I'm not good with abstract concepts. I need things to be practical. Every single one of those statements is a white flag, a surrender document signed in your own blood. You know what's truly perverse about this? The people who called you stupid in school, the ones who got straight A's, the ones who made you feel small every time they raised their hand with the right answer. Half of them are working middle management jobs right now, wondering why they're not happy, wondering why their lives feel hollow despite doing everything right. Meanwhile, the dumb kid who couldn't pass algebra, he's running a company because he stopped playing their game and started playing his own. That's not luck. That's not an exception. That's what happens when someone finally understands that the game itself is rigged and the only winning move is to change the rules. Now I need you to understand something. This is going to hurt, but it's necessary. You've been measuring yourself with the wrong ruler your entire life. Imagine you're a racehorse, magnificent, built for speed, engineered over generations to run faster than anything on land. but someone convinced you that the real test of value is how well you swim. So you've spent your whole life in the water, struggling, gasping, barely keeping your head above the surface, watching dolphins glide past you and thinking, I must be defective. You're not defective. You're just in the wrong medium. And here's the part that's going to make you angry. Really angry. The people who put you in the water, they knew. They knew you were built to run. But a racehorse that doesn't know it's a racehorse is easy to control, easy to exploit, easy to convince that pulling a cart is its highest purpose. So they kept you in the water, gave you swimming lessons, told you that if you just worked harder at swimming, maybe one day you'd be average. Maybe one day you'd be good enough. Good enough for what? To drown more slowly? Here's how the con works. Here's the architecture of your imprisonment. There are 7 forms of intelligence, not 1. 7 domains where human cognition operates at its highest level. First, there's linguistic intelligence. The writer, the speaker, the person who moves people with words, who can take an abstract concept and make it visceral, who can start a revolution with a sentence. These are the people who can describe a color to a blind person and make them see it, who can tell a story that changes how you think about your entire life. This isn't about vocabulary. It's about understanding that language is a weapon, a tool, a key that unlocks human consciousness. Second, logical mathematical intelligence. The analyst, the strategist, the person who sees systems where others see chaos, who can reduce complexity to elegant formulas, who can predict outcomes before they happen. These people look at the stock market and see patterns, look at a business and see the mathematical structure underneath the surface. They think in if-then statements, in probabilities, in systems that cascade. Third, spatial intelligence. The architect, the designer, the person who thinks in 3 dimensions, who can look at a blueprint and see a building, who can rotate objects in their mind like they're holding them. These are the people who can pack a car trunk with perfect efficiency, who can navigate a city after seeing a map once, who can look at a space and immediately understand how to reorganize it for maximum flow. Fourth, musical intelligence. The composer, the performer, the person who understands rhythm and harmony at a level that's almost supernatural, who hears patterns in sound that others can't perceive. But this goes deeper than you think. Musical intelligence is about pattern recognition in time. It's about understanding how elements flow and interact and build toward resolution. These people understand narrative arc instinctively. They feel when something is off tempo in a conversation, in a relationship, in a business deal. Fifth, bodily kinesthetic intelligence. The athlete, the surgeon, the craftsman, the person whose body is their instrument, who can execute complex physical movements with precision that looks like magic. But it's not just about sports. It's about people who can feel a material and know exactly how to work with it, who can look at a human body and understand its mechanics at a cellular level, who communicate through presence and movement in ways that words never could. Sixth, interpersonal intelligence. The leader, the negotiator, the person who reads people like books, who walks into a room and immediately understands the power dynamics, who can make anyone feel seen, understood, weaponized. These are the most dangerous people alive, because while everyone else is playing checkers with information, they're playing chess with human psychology. They understand that reality is negotiable, that perception is everything, that the person who controls the frame controls the outcome. Seventh, intrapersonal intelligence. The philosopher, the self-aware, the person who understands their own internal landscape with such clarity that they can navigate it like a map, who knows exactly why they feel what they feel and can modify their own states at will. These people have such deep self-knowledge that they can't be manipulated, can't be thrown off balance, because they've already encountered every version of themselves in the dark. You have all 7. Every human being does, but you're dominant in 2, maybe 3. And if those 2 or 3 don't align with what the system values, you were told you were broken, deficient, less than. And here's the truly sick part. the part that should make you furious. The system doesn't just measure one or two forms of intelligence. It actively punishes the others. The kid with high bodily kinesthetic intelligence who can't sit still? ADHD, medicate him. The kid with high spatial intelligence who doodles during lectures? Not paying attention. Detention. The kid with high interpersonal intelligence who's always talking? Disruptive. Send him to the principal. They don't just ignore your intelligence, they pathologize it, turn it into a disorder, make you feel broken for being exactly what you are. Here's what you need to understand. Here's the secret that changes everything. The most dangerous people in any room aren't the ones with the highest IQ. They're the ones who've mastered interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence, because while everyone else is competing on logical mathematical ability, these people are controlling the frame, setting the rules, deciding what winning even means. You want to know why CEOs are often C students? It's not despite their mediocre grades. It's because of them. Because they understood early, maybe intuitively, maybe consciously, that the game wasn't about being the smartest person in the room. It was about making the smartest person in the room work for them. Steve Jobs couldn't code like Wozniak, but Wozniak built the computer Jobs envisioned. Oprah wasn't the best journalist, but she understood human emotion better than anyone in the industry. Michael Jordan wasn't the most naturally talented player on every court, but his bodily kinesthetic intelligence combined with his intrapersonal mastery made him unstoppable. That's not manipulation. That's not cheating. That's strategy. And strategy is just intelligence applied to power. Now here's where it gets interesting. Here's where you're going to start feeling uncomfortable. The reason you've felt stuck your entire life isn't lack of ability, it's misalignment. You've been trying to win a race you were never designed to run. While your competitors sprint on the track, you've got wings. But instead of flying, you've been trying to run faster, trying to keep up, trying to prove you belong. No wonder you're exhausted. Let me give you an example. A real one, not some motivational fairy tale. There was this guy, call him Mike. Mike barely graduated high school, couldn't focus in class, got labeled with every acronym in the book, ADHD, learning disability, you name it. His parents were told he'd be lucky to get a job at a warehouse. Mike's 28 now. He owns 3 gyms. Revenue just crossed 7 figures. He employs people with master's degrees, people who used to look down on him. How? Mike is a master of bodily kinesthetic and interpersonal intelligence. He can demonstrate a movement once and your body understands it. He can look at someone's posture and tell them exactly what's tight, what's weak, what's compensating, and he can make you believe you're capable of more than you thought possible. But here's the key. Mike doesn't just understand movement. He understands that most people's physical problems are emotional problems manifested in the body. That the guy with chronic back pain isn't just tight. He's carrying something. That the woman who can't make eye contact during squats isn't weak. She's afraid of being seen. Mike reads bodies like other people read books, and he uses that knowledge to transform lives. Those aren't soft skills. Those are the hardest skills in the world, because they can't be automated. They can't be outsourced. They can't be replaced by an AI that read 1 million books. But Mike spent 15 years thinking he was stupid, because nobody told him there was more than one way to be intelligent. Nobody told him his way mattered. Now let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah failed out of college twice, couldn't finish a paper to save her life. Writing for her was like pulling teeth from a crocodile. But Sarah could walk into a networking event and leave with 5 investors interested in a business she hadn't even started yet. Why? Because Sarah has interpersonal intelligence that operates at a level most people can't comprehend. She can read a room in 3 seconds. She knows who has power, who wants power, who's pretending to have power. She knows exactly how to position herself, exactly what to say, exactly when to listen. Sarah's 32 now. She runs a venture capital firm. She didn't do it with credentials. She did it with connections, with relationships, with the ability to make powerful people trust her judgment. And here's what Sarah figured out that you haven't yet. The people with the credentials work for the people with the relationships, every single time. Now here's the brutal part, the part you need to hear. You've been trying to fix your weaknesses. That's what they told you to do, right? Work on your weaknesses. Be well-rounded. Terrible advice. Catastrophically bad advice. Well-rounded people are mediocre at everything and exceptional at nothing. They're the human equivalent of a multi-tool. Convenient, versatile, utterly forgettable. You don't want to be a multi-tool. You want to be a scalpel. Razor sharp in one domain. Dangerously effective in your lane. Absolutely untouchable when operating in your zone. The sacrifice you have to make is this. You have to let go of the fantasy that one day you'll be good at everything. You have to embrace asymmetry. You have to become comfortable being spectacular at your thing and mediocre at everything else. This is terrifying. I know it is. Because you've spent your whole life trying to prove you're not deficient. Trying to show that you can do what they do. Trying to earn a seat at a table you were never meant to sit at. But here's what happens when you make that sacrifice. When you finally accept that you're not going to be good at math or writing or whatever it is that the system values, and instead you weaponize what you are good at. You become irreplaceable. Think about it. If you're competing on the same metrics as everyone else, you're in a race to the bottom. There's always someone smarter, faster, better credentialed. But if you're competing in your own category, in your own domain of genius, you're not competing at all. You're monopolizing. Here's a concept that's going to blow your mind. Strategic incompetence. You know those people who are mysteriously terrible at things they don't want to do? They're not actually incompetent. They're strategically allocating their competence. They understand that if you're good at something you don't want to do, people will make you keep doing it. So they stay just bad enough at it that nobody asks. Meanwhile, they're becoming world-class at what they actually care about. That's not laziness, that's warfare. The new identity isn't "I'm not smart." The new identity is "I'm specialized." And specialized intelligence, when fully developed, when given permission to operate at maximum capacity, destroys generalized mediocrity every single time. You know what's ironic? The people who made you feel stupid, the honor students, the valedictorians, the ones with perfect SAT scores, most of them are working for someone who barely passed. Why? Because they were trained to be employees, to follow instructions, to excel within someone else's framework, while the person who couldn't sit still in class was out there figuring out how to build frameworks. Let me tell you about the tyranny of the single ruler. The belief that there's one way to measure intelligence is the most effective form of control ever invented, because it makes you police yourself. It makes you voluntarily accept your own inferiority. Nobody has to enforce it. You enforce it on yourself every time you say, "I'm not a numbers person," or "I'm not good with words." Every one of those statements is a scar, a reminder of the day you surrendered. But here's the thing about scars. They're also proof you survived. Now let me show you what asymmetric superiority looks like in practice. Let me show you what happens when you stop apologizing for what you're not and start weaponizing what you are. If you're dominant in spatial intelligence, stop trying to compete in verbal reasoning. Start thinking in systems, in structures, in visual models that others can't see. While everyone else is arguing about the data, you're seeing the architecture of the problem itself. You're building solutions they can't even conceptualize yet. You're the person who can look at a broken organization and see exactly where the structural flaw is, not because you analyzed it, because you can see it. If you're dominant in interpersonal intelligence, stop trying to compete on credentials. Stop trying to have the most degrees or certifications. Start building networks. Start making yourself indispensable, not because of what you know, but because of who knows you. Your ability to read a room, to make people feel understood, to position yourself at the intersection of value. That's not networking. That's warfare. You're the person who can walk into a negotiation and know within 30 seconds exactly what the other person really wants. Not what they're saying they want, what they actually want. If you're dominant in bodily kinesthetic intelligence, stop forcing yourself into spreadsheets. Your body is your instrument. Your presence is your weapon. When you walk into a room, people should feel it, not because you're loud, not because you're trying, but because you've mastered the physics of human interaction at a level most people don't even know exists. You're the person who can communicate confidence, authority, trustworthiness, without saying a single word. If you're dominant in intrapersonal intelligence, stop trying to be the most social person in the room. Your superpower is self-knowledge. You know yourself so completely that nobody can manipulate you. Nobody can sell you on who you should be. You've already met every version of yourself and chosen which one gets to drive. While everyone else is being tossed around by their emotions, by other people's opinions, by the culture's definition of success, you're unmovable. And that kind of centered presence, that's magnetic. People are drawn to it without knowing why. Here's what I need you to understand. This isn't about feel-good self-acceptance. This isn't about everyone's special in their own way. This is about strategic domination in your actual domain of competence. The military doesn't take snipers and put them in hand-to-hand combat. They put snipers where snipers excel, a mile away, invisible, lethal. That's not because the sniper is better than the infantryman. It's because their intelligence is specialized for a specific type of warfare. You need to find your mile-away position, the place where you operate with such precision that nobody can touch you. Now I'm going to tell you something that's going to make you angry. Something you've suspected but never wanted to admit. The system doesn't want you to know about the 7 intelligences. It wants you confused. It wants you feeling deficient. Because confused, insecure people are easy to control. They take whatever job is offered. They don't negotiate. They don't demand their worth. They're grateful for scraps. But someone who understands their own intelligence, someone who knows exactly where they're lethal and refuses to operate anywhere else, that person is dangerous. That person can't be controlled. That person sets their own price. And here's the final piece. The piece that brings it all together. You don't need to be good at everything. You don't need to be well-rounded. You don't need to fix your weaknesses. You need to be unstoppable at your thing. You need to be so dominant in your domain that people seek you out specifically for what only you can do. That's the game. That's the real competition. Not who can be the most balanced, who can be the most lethally specialized. Let me ask you something. When's the last time you felt in flow? When's the last time hours passed like minutes because you were so absorbed in what you were doing that time disappeared? When you looked up and realized it was dark outside and you hadn't eaten and you didn't even care because you were so locked in? That's your intelligence operating at full capacity. That's you in your natural domain. That's you doing what you were designed to do. Now compare that to the times you feel resistant, drained, like you're pushing a boulder uphill. Like every minute feels like an hour, like you have to force yourself to focus, like you'd rather do literally anything else. That's you operating outside your domain. That's you trying to be someone you're not. The protocol is simple, brutal but simple. For the next 7 days, I want you to document every moment you feel in flow versus every moment you feel resistant, every single one. Carry a notebook. Use your phone. I don't care. But write it down. When you feel energized, write it down. When you feel drained, write it down. When time disappears, note what you were doing. When time drags, note what you were doing. By day 3, you'll start seeing a pattern. You'll notice that certain types of activities consistently put you in flow. Certain types consistently drain you. By day 5, you'll know exactly which of the 7 intelligences those flow states correspond to. You'll see it clear as day. And by day 7, you design one project, just one, that uses only your dominant intelligence. You eliminate everything else. You cut away everything that isn't you at your most lethal. Maybe it's starting a side business that leverages your interpersonal intelligence. Maybe it's finally working on that design project you've been putting off because you thought you should be doing something more serious. And maybe it's signing up for that martial arts class because your body has been begging for a challenge that actually uses it. Whatever it is, you commit to it, fully. Not as a hobby, not as something you do when you have time, as your primary expression of intelligence in the world. That's it. That's the test. Can you let go of the need to be good at what you're bad at? Can you give yourself permission to be exceptional at what you're already good at? Most people can't. They're too addicted to the validation of being well-rounded, too scared of being seen as one-dimensional, too invested in proving they can do what the smart kids do. But you're not most people. If you were, you would have clicked away 15 minutes ago. Here's what I know about you. You've felt it. That nagging sense that you're capable of more, that you're operating at 30% of your actual capacity, that somewhere inside you there's a version of yourself that's so effective, so dialed in, so absolutely in your zone, that it would terrify you to become that person. That version isn't smarter. That version is aligned. And alignment is the only force multiplier that matters. So here's the filter. This isn't for everyone. If you're still holding on to the fantasy that one day you'll magically become good at everything, this isn't for you. Go watch another motivational video. Keep trying to be someone else. Keep measuring yourself with their ruler. But if you're done apologizing, if you're ready to stop fixing weaknesses and start weaponizing strengths, if you're ready to become so dangerously good at your thing that people have no choice but to recognize your value on your terms, then you understand what's at stake. The people who made you feel stupid are about to work for you, not because you beat them at their game, because you changed the game entirely. Comment specialized below. That's it. Just that word. Because when you type it, when you declare it publicly, something shifts. You're making a commitment, not to me, to yourself, to the version of you that's been waiting your entire life for permission to dominate. This is that permission. I'll see you in the next one.